Hello, everybody out there. This is Graham Sparkman with Graham Sparkman Music Production. A special shout out to the WSGS, WKIC Facebook and YouTube fans that are watching this. So about 2 weeks ago, I shot a video for my YouTube channel on this classic piece of analog outboard gear that I received from WSGS recently. This is the Uri Mod 1 console from 1974. And my uncle, Stuart Shane Sparkman, my dad, Farron Sparkman, and my grandfather, Ernest Sparkman, spent countless hours over weeks, months, decades on this board doing voice tracking, station IDs, jingles. So chances are, if you've been listening to the radio from 1974 until early 2000s, you heard the sonic thumbprint of this board.
Top of the morning to you out there in Radio Land from all of us up here at WSGS on Saturday morning, music for everybody.
Each of these modules was assigned to a different audio source. So they would have a microphone coming in. One would be a turntable, one a cart machine, one reel-to-reel tape machine, etc. And so the whole point behind this was they could come in and introduce songs and have that be recorded, pre-recorded. That would go into what was called an automation system. So it was cutting-edge technology for the time. They needed a board to be able to route all of these different signal paths. And so Bob Hell, the station engineer, ordered this board in the 73, 74. But he took a teeny tiny room and he actually ordered all of the parts for these speakers, which were massive. I mean, you could have powered an AC/DC concert at that time period and broadcasted the signal over like 3 counties with the wattage that these speakers could have put out. There's like the subs and the tweeters and the cabinets. Bob, I think, built all this himself and soldered it and wired it all together in this tiny room that was smaller than a bedroom. This board was at the helm of the ship, the control center, routing all the signals, as I said, from the turntable to the cart machine, the reel-to-reel, etc. And when I would walk into the room, I'd see the board lit up and think it was an awesome Christmas tree. And there's a blurry picture of my dad in front of this board. There's a computer monitor above him. That's how we know that this board was probably shortly thereafter being phased out, because they had gone digital with the automation at that point. So it went into the basement, and it went through like floods and disasters and fires and sprinkler systems going off and water saturating into the board. And I don't even know how my uncle heroically salvaged this thing out of multiple natural disasters. But he did. I was building this studio up in 2020, actually, and he said, is there anything down in that basement of the radio station that you might be interested in? I thought about that old board. He sent me some pictures, and in the mix, there was 50 pictures, and in the mix was this board, and it was covered under about 50 pounds of dust and mold and probably asbestos.
Graham, here's a look at the Mod 1. I would think that would come off. It used to be green. But as you can see, most of the switches are in good shape. That one's missing, and that one's broken off. And I would think that this could be cleaned off. Here's a look at the top. Open up the hood.
So after they retired the board, it went into the basement of the radio station, fell into disrepair, and I convinced my uncle to release his death grip from the board, with the caveat that I restore it to its full capacity and use it in my everyday music studio for music production, recording, audio engineering, etc. I started cleaning it myself and just got like half the board cleaned. But one thing I just thought was the coolest thing was that this board is green and it's got this like 70s wood paneling. And then I looked in the bottom right-hand corner and I saw the Uri logo. This is after I got it up here in Duluth, Minnesota. If that's not cool enough, Peter, my technician, got this idea to take a recording that my grandfather, Ernest Sparkman, did on this board in the 70s, introducing a song, have an internal MP3 player so that you would hear Ernest's voice anytime you flip a switch. So it's the ghost of Ernest is living in this board 24/7. So I can flip this over and you'll hear a loop of my grandfather introducing songs, which is internal to the board. How cool is that? Let's hear a sample of that.
Broadcasting from the mountains of Virginia to the bluegrass of Kentucky from WSGS Radio in Hazard.